Hi there, it's Anna McKinlay here, and thank you for joining me. I've got a question for you. Has this ever happened to you? You get a great idea, you get excited and inspired by it. You start taking action towards it. You're engaged, you're taking the steps, you can feel the momentum. And after a while of keeping working towards this idea, you just start to lose that edge. The momentum drops off, the energy drops off, it starts to feel a little bit like work. You start to put off doing some of those things towards the goal, and the excuses start coming up. And ultimately, it just all fades away. We miss that goal, we stop taking action towards it, sweep it under the rug. Has that ever happened to you? Or maybe to someone that you know? Because it's a very common pattern. Most people can relate to this. In fact, in a way, as human beings, we're kind of wired to go through this pattern as a bit of a default setting. In fact, as a coach, a core part of what I do is helping people to step out of this pattern of failure so that they can accomplish their goals and dreams. But this pattern of avoidance, of procrastination, of excuses, the irony is that it affects even me. So in this video, I have three things I'm going to share with you. The first is an admission. I'm going to fess up. The second thing is I want to share a couple of powerful lessons that will not only help me, but the idea is to help you be able to get what you want and be able to get that more effectively. And I want to share a heads up with you. So here's the admission. It's confession time. Earlier this year, I had this great idea. I thought, I know what, I'm going to start a 100-day challenge. That 100-day challenge is going to be sharing a video and podcast every day for 100 days in which I share great content about how to accomplish what we want, how to boost our well-being, and how to have a great life. To be able to help people move into 2020 and be able to adapt and achieve what they want, regardless of what happens externally, right? Now, there are a whole lot of reasons why I thought that this would be a great and exciting thing to do. Firstly, to benefit others, to build awareness with people who want to lift their game and to lift their quality of life on about tools and approaches that they can take to do that. And of course, part of it was about building my own momentum, building my own confidence, and building an audience of like-minded people who are really engaged in this idea of having a successful, accomplished, great life. So it was really inspiring for me at the start. And for about the first 30 days, I had great momentum going. I was posting every day. I had inspired ideas. I felt really good about it. But it was around that 30-day mark that the momentum just started to slide. Now, I'm going to share with you, this is actually really normal. For most people, when we start something new, it takes around 3 to 4 weeks for that initial excitement to wear off and for it to start to feel like work. Think of anyone who's joined the gym or started a new exercise program or started a New Year's resolution. And we see this pattern very strongly. So you can probably think of people that you've seen go through that. Great for the first few weeks, and then it just starts to slide off. And that's what happened for me. And then the excuses start coming up. Like, oh, I'm too busy today. I don't have enough time. Oh, no one else really cares anyway. No one will know if I don't do it. What does it really matter? These types of excuses. And when we let those excuses take hold, what happens? Well, I made it to day 41 before I quietly swept the whole thing under the carpet. No more said, right? So that's my confession. It's a very common pattern. As I shared with you, this is something I coach clients around avoiding. And there are a number of strategies we can use to fix this or to make sure it doesn't even happen. So I'm going to share a couple of those with you and some important lessons, valuable lessons that I hope you were able to apply in your own life. So here's the first thing. To be able to avoid that kind of pattern of failure that I have described and shared with you, well, the first step is that it starts with setting the goal correctly, right? very few people in life are actually taught how to set goals in a way that really works, that engages our whole mind, our full power and potential, that keeps us motivated, and that anticipates and plans for the unexpected hurdles and the things that we can anticipate, such as those excuses. So, in this particular example, well, to be blunt, my failure started when I omitted following the process that I coach all my clients to apply, which starts with setting smarter goals. Hey, I'm human too, right? And sometimes, it's easy to slip into that place of being complacent. So, smarter goal setting provides a framework that helps us to set goals in a way that really motivates us and that engages our subconscious mind as well as our conscious self towards the goal that we want to accomplish. So, this is a framework that's all about setting us up for success. Now, two particular areas that I fell down on were firstly, was the goal realistic? That's what the first R in SMARTER actually stands for, realistic. And realistic is about, am I prepared to be the version of myself who can and will accomplish the goal? It involves really thinking about, in order to accomplish the goal, how do I need to show up? How do I need to think? What do I need to believe about myself? What are the behaviors and the actions that come from that? Is there any aspect of my thinking that I need and my behavior that I need to let go of? So that's what realistic is about. It's about embracing becoming the version of ourselves who, in effect, has already accomplished the goal by thinking about who is that person and consciously choosing to adopt the thinking and actions of that version of ourselves. So that's the first one. The second one is I lost touch with what made the goal exciting. So here's a tip. If you've ever found yourself in that situation where you're moving towards something, but it's starting to feel less exciting and less inspired and really more a bit like hard work, that is the warning sign that it's time to reconnect with our why, with our purpose, with what is it about this goal or this activity that makes it personally meaningful, inspiring, and exciting for us. Because that is the fuel that drives everything, is that excitement. So what do I mean by that? It's about understanding what are all of the specific reasons why the goal is worth attaining. What are the impacts that it will have personally and for others? What are the ripple effects? What is it that makes it really, really worthwhile? And being as expansive as we can, as we possibly can around that, because that is what helps to underpin our motivation. And that's what I lost touch with, right? It's when we lose touch with that the excuses can really take hold. So, well, why am I sharing this with you? Well, there's two reasons. The first is but I hope that by sharing my learnings with this, it will help you to stay the course on whatever your goals, desires, and aspirations are right now. Because let's face it, we're all human. We're living through very difficult and uncertain times, and the excuses for letting ourselves step off the wagon abound, right? There are so many reasons we could give for failing to keep persevering when it comes to our goals. But at the end of the day, all that means is that we don't achieve what we want, and I don't want that for you. Plus, we're all human. We have human brains. And what does that mean? That means that we actually all have the potential to get stuck into these patterns that lead to failure, because that is part of our default programming as human beings, is to fall into these kinds of patterns. But having awareness of this potential is part of what protects us, because awareness creates choice. You now have the power to choose a different course. So that's the first reason. I'm hoping that you'll benefit from my experience here. The second reason, though, is this. All right, we all have two choices when we fail to accomplish something that we set out to do. What are those choices? Number one is we can let it lie and buy into the failure and let that become a part of who we are. Or we can choose not to do that. We can choose to re-examine what happened, take the learnings, adjust our approach, and get right back on that wagon. And that is what I'm doing right now. I've adjusted my approach. I've applied the lessons. I've connected fully with my why. I've got new systems in place and I'm back. And this time I am committed to sharing quality content with you by video twice a week rather than daily, because that's the realistic part for me, and it's a more sustainable course. But what I'm going to focus on is sharing quality content that, again, is about helping you accomplish the lifestyle and the dreams and aspirations that you really desire in your life, professionally and personally. So watch this space. I hope you enjoy, and please scroll down now and share in the comments any topics that you'd like to hear more about in the realm of success, goal accomplishment, overall well-being, how to accomplish your goals, dreams, and aspirations in life. And I look forward to sharing great content on those topics with you in the coming weeks. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.